Look at this. The single brightest object in the entire universe. Older than the Earth. Smaller than our solar system. And it can burn with the light of 100 trillion suns, from a point you could hide between here and Neptune. For 60 years, we thought we understood it. In the last 2 years, a new telescope proved us wrong. It is not a star. It never was. It's a wound. The light a galaxy gives off, while something at its core eats it alive. We call it a quasar. And there is one sleeping at the center of the Milky Way right now. This is the story of the brightest killer in existence. What it does to everything near it, and what happens on the day ours wakes up. You've always been told the night sky is calm, patient, harmless. That was the first lie. In 1963, an astronomer named Martin Schmidt sat looking at a single object called 3C273. It looked like a faint blue star. It behaved like nothing that should exist. Its light was stretched, shifted so far toward red that the number only made sense if the thing was billions of light years away. And if it was that far, and still that bright, then it was pouring out more energy than 1 trillion suns from a space smaller than our solar system. That's the paradox that started everything. Something the size of a city, screaming with the light of a galaxy. They called them quasars, quasi-stellar radio sources. Star-like. It was a nervous name, the kind you give a thing you don't yet understand. Because a quasar is not a star, and it is not gentle, and it does not shine. It feeds. At the center of a quasar sits a supermassive black hole, millions, sometimes billions of times the mass of our sun. But the black hole itself is invisible. It emits nothing. The light, that impossible, universe-crossing light, comes from everything falling in. Imagine a whirlpool. Now imagine the water is made of entire stars, torn into rivers of gas, circling a drain that has no bottom. As they fall, they crowd, they grind, they burn, until the gas glows brighter than anything else in the known universe. This is the most efficient engine physics allows. It turns matter into light more completely than the fusion inside any star. And it runs entirely on ruin. 12 billion years later, a little of that light reaches your eye. You are looking at a monster's meal. Get closer, if you could. Say you're in a ship, falling toward a quasar from the outside. For a long time, nothing, just the dark. Then a smudge of light that grows and grows until it fills your entire sky. Not a point anymore. A wall. A flattened disk of shredded matter wider than our whole solar system, turning. The inner edge moves at nearly the speed of light. The gas there is hotter than the surface of any star, radiating ultraviolet and X-rays that would sterilize a world long before you ever arrived. You would not burn up. You would be unmade. Your atoms peeled apart and added to the glow. One more whisper in a light that some astronomer, in some other galaxy, will one day mistake for a star. That is the intimacy of a quasar. Everything it touches becomes part of its brightness. And here's the strangest part. The black hole at the center is, in cosmic terms, small. A dark full stop, no bigger than our solar system even for the largest ones. The engine is tiny. The destruction is galaxy-wide. A pinhole swallowing an ocean. We build our lives around the idea that big things do the big damage. A quasar breaks that rule. It's a lesson written in light across 12 billion years. The smallest mouths can hold the deepest hunger. But a quasar doesn't only pull, it throws. Not everything that falls toward the black hole falls in. Some of it is caught in magnetic fields wound so tight and so violently that the quasar spits it back out, from its poles, in two thin beams, at almost the speed of light. We call them relativistic jets. That phrase does them no justice. These are lances of plasma that reach out across not thousands, not millions, but hundreds of thousands of light years, longer than an entire galaxy is wide. They punch out of the galactic core and keep going, into the black between galaxies, still tightly focused, still lethal, like a lighthouse beam that never spreads and never dims. Stand anywhere along that beam, and there is no story to tell afterward. A planet in its path isn't destroyed so much as erased. Atmosphere stripped, surface flashed to glass. Then the crust itself boiled into the same particle soup that feeds the jet. No crater, no ruin, just an absence where a world used to orbit. And these jets are aimed by nothing. No malice, no target. They simply point wherever the black hole's spin decides, sweeping across the sky over millions of years, the hand of a clock that measures extinction instead of time. Somewhere out there, right now, one of them is pointed at empty space. And somewhere, it isn't. Here's the cruelest thing a quasar does. It isn't the burning. It isn't the jets. It's what comes after. A galaxy is a nursery. Cold clouds of gas drift through it, collapsing over millions of years into new stars. The slow, patient work of a galaxy raising its children. A quasar ends that. The radiation pouring out of the core pushes on the surrounding gas like a wind, and this wind is strong enough to sweep a galaxy's raw material out into empty space, or heat it so badly it can never cool and collapse again. No cold gas, no new stars. Astronomers call this feedback. It's a gentle word for sterilization. The quasar blazes at the center of its galaxy, and slowly, deliberately, it starves that galaxy of the power to create anything new. Picture a house in winter, and something living in the basement that keeps itself warm by burning the walls, the floors, the furniture, everything the family needed to survive. It is bright in there. It is also the end. When the fuel finally runs out, the quasar goes dark. What's left is a galaxy that's red and dead. No new stars, only old ones, cooling toward red, then toward nothing. A fossil, lit by its own slow fade. The brightest object in the universe. And its final act is to make sure nothing bright is ever born around it again. Now step back. Far back. Almost every quasar we see is impossibly far away, which means impossibly long ago. When you look at a quasar, you're not really looking across space. You're looking down through time, into the universe's violent youth. Because quasars are, mostly, extinct. They belong to an era astronomers call cosmic noon. 10, 11, 12 billion years ago, when galaxies were young and crowded and constantly colliding, dumping torrents of gas into the black holes at their hearts. The early universe was on fire with them. Everywhere you looked, galaxies were feeding, blazing, dying. Then the fuel thinned. The collisions slowed. The great feeding ended, and one by one, across billions of years, the quasars went quiet. That was the story we told for 60 years. Then we built a telescope that could see further back than any before it, James Webb, and aimed it at the oldest light in existence. And there, at the edge of time, it found something that should not be there. Tiny red dots. Hundreds of them. We thought they were small, faint galaxies. They're not. They're infant quasars, black holes already millions of times the mass of the Sun, fully grown, already feeding, less than 1 billion years after the universe began. Too big, too soon. Every model we have says they can't exist, and they are everywhere we look. The universe grew its monsters faster than physics can explain, and we are only now realizing we never understood where they came from at all. So the ones you can still see are ghosts. Light that left before the sun existed, before the earth cooled, before a single living thing had ever opened an eye, crossing an expanding, darkening universe for 12 billion years to arrive, tonight, at a telescope built by the descendants of pond scum on a small wet rock. You are not looking at how the universe is. You're looking at how it was, when it was young and hungry, and did not yet contain anyone to be afraid. And what about us? There's a supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy too. Its name is Sagittarius A star. For 1 million times the mass of the Sun, 26,000 light-years away, sitting at the exact center of everything you have ever called home. Right now, it's quiet. It nibbles. A wisp of gas here, a stray cloud there, flickering faintly, a fraction of a fraction as bright as the monsters of the early universe. Our black hole is sleeping. Not dead. Sleeping. And sleep can end. In roughly 4 to 5 billion years, our galaxy is expected to fall into its neighbor, Andromeda. Two vast spirals passing through each other over hundreds of millions of years. The newest measurements whisper that it may not be certain that the two might yet miss. But if they meet, that collision would pour fresh gas down towards Sagittarius A star. A sleeping black hole suddenly handed a meal. And here's the honest part. Our black hole is small, as these things go. Even fully fed, it would probably wake as something far dimmer than the quasars of cosmic noon. A flickering, furious core, not a beacon across the universe. But it would wake. For a while, the heart of the Milky Way could burn and blow its wind through the galaxy and quietly close the nurseries. By then the sun will already be gone, and the earth with it. No one will stand on this rock to watch the sky catch fire. Or maybe someone will. Just not us. Think about what a quasar really is. It's a place where gravity won so completely that light itself lines up to be eaten. It's the brightest object in existence, powered entirely by loss. It's a monster you can only see because it is already, in a sense, dead. A scream that has been crossing the dark for longer than the Earth has existed, just to reach your eyes for a single second on an ordinary night. Maybe that's the quiet lesson in all of it. Everything that burns brightest is burning something. Every light that reaches you has already left. And the calm you feel, looking up at that patient, harmless sky, that calm is not peace. It's distance. It's timing. It's the enormous, undeserved luck of living in one of the rare, quiet gaps between the times the universe is on fire. We are not safe. We are just early. Or late. Never in the room when it happens. Out here, even silence has weight. I'm Hostile Orbit.